Hi, I'm Joy.
Hi, I'm Lorraine.
And this is Girlish Gurus. And Lorraine, why are we here?
We're here to talk about mid-lifestyle topics for women who are 45 and older to help you live your best, healthiest, and most fulfilled life. We're also going to have lots of fun along the way.
So let's get started.
So Joy, I really loved the other podcast. It was great. That was my favorite one I've done so far. But it was great. And it was like so nice of you too at the end. It was beautiful.
Aww.
You did such a great job.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
Good.
This is my true favorite, my true passion, my true favorite thing to do. I love the whole putting it together, and it does take a long time to edit because I'm maybe a little too meticulous about. I want to make everybody sound their very best, and I just So
no, it was great. Your ending too was just fantastic. I was like, wow, she's fantastic. Yeah, it was great. Like like as a listener, like you needed to get to the end because you needed to hear you, like because the way you summed it up, it was beautiful. You did such a great job, I have to tell you.
Aww.
So
thank you. Yay.
And that is from an expert podcast listener.
Yeah, at least that.
That is
Producer, no, but a listener, yeah, a lot of experience listening. So
we are growing, and I learn something new every time we podcast, and I'm fortunate because Lorraine is we make a great team together. I feel like I'm really in my happy second act. So, yeah. Anyway, I could go on and on about that, and nobody needs to, we'll cut all this part out. But anyway.
That's the whole purpose of Girlish Gurus, right? Encouraging women in their second act to be inspired and pursue passions. And so I'm looking forward to the conversation with you, especially as a fellow New York Italian-American.
Yes.
You guys have a lot in common. Aren't you from Long Island, Lorraine? And so are you, Rosamaria, right?
I was born in Brooklyn, but I grew up on Long Island. Where did you grow up on Long Island, Lorraine?
I was born in the Bronx, and I grew up in Northport.
In Northport, okay.
I didn't realize you were born in the Bronx. I was thinking
In
you
the
were
Bronx.
from.
Yeah.
Everyone was either born in Brooklyn, Queen, or the Bronx, and then they moved to
And then
Long
they moved to
Island.
the suburbs.
Exactly.
And where on Long Island were you?
On the East End, so near Shirley, Smith Point Beach. I don't know if you know where that is. Yeah,
Oh,
that's where it was.
Smith's Point. We used to drive out there every summer and camp.
Okay.
Yeah. Love Smith's Point. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing. I'm from North. I was born in North Tonawanda, which everyone's like, where? And it's right outside of Buffalo, about 15 minutes from Niagara Falls, which I never really realized that. We left New York when I was like, I guess a couple of months old. I always thought I was 2 years old, but I guess I was a couple of months old. And my husband just surprised me with a trip to Niagara Falls over the 4th of July weekend. And we landed in Buffalo and drove, the 15 minutes from there, or 20 minutes or whatever. And we went through that little town where I'm from. And I was like, wow, look at that. It's 20 minutes from Canada. Yay. So, you learn something new every day.
Sure.
I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I can't think about what it is. I don't know. We're just going to roll with it. We're just going to hop in and go, and we're just going to have a fun old chat. Okay.
Great.
All right. So do you want to get started, Lorraine? You're going to read the bio, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, got everything I need? I think so. All right. Let me just keep my chair. All right. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Girlish Gurus. I'm Joy.
And I'm Lorraine.
Lorraine, what are we talking about today?
Today we have another special guest, Rosamaria Mancini. And I feel like, now how do you say this in Italian? Paisana?
Paisana, correct.
Ooh,
very good.
Paisana. New York, another New York Italian American. So we have quite a
I'm not
bit
Italian, but we're 3 New Yorkers. Yay!
Oh,
Right.
Paisane? How do you say?
Paisani, yeah.
Hey, Paisani, hey.
Paisani. And I'm just going to read Rosamaria's bio because, first of all, I listened to Everyday Macaroni, which, as many of you know, is Joy's other podcast. And I feel like I know Rosamaria so well already. And it was so interesting. And this woman has done so many things, very impressive. So I'm just going to read a little bit about her. She is an Italian-American journalist, writer, mother, and author of SOS Podcasts, a memoir, a refreshingly honest and often hilarious take on parenting, identity, and navigating life between cultures. So much of what I read in your book so resonates with me growing up with an Italian grandmother who lived with us. Rosamaria Mancini is a journalist and writer whose work has appeared in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and other publications. For several years, she was a communications specialist at the Vatican. So amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And she currently holds a position with Fair Trade International in Bonn. Rosamaria is also a professor of communications at the Brussels School of Governance and UMGC Europe. A native New Yorker, she lives in the tri-border area between Germany, Netherlands, and Belgium with her husband and 2 children. She recently earned her PhD in creative writing from Swansea University. Her first book, SOS Podcasts, was published by Cambria Books August 1st in a year ago, just almost exactly a year ago.
Exactly.
So welcome.
Welcome.
Thanks so much. So happy to be here. So happy to be here. Excited.
I'm
We're
looking
so
forward to
excited.
this chat myself. I really am. This is going to be fun. It's going to be fun listening to you two talk. That's going to be fun.
The New York accents that do not
That's
go away
right.
no matter where you live in the
Never,
world.
never.
I love it. I
never.
wouldn't have it any other way. I really wouldn't.
So, Rosamaria, I love that your memoir, it blends personal essays, cultural commentary, and laugh out loud parenting moments. And I can relate to so much of what you wrote about because I am also kind of one of those very protective moms. Even now, my adult kids are in their late 30s, early 40s, and I am still the same way. I send them all kinds of reels about, don't do this, be careful. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how the book SOS Podcast came about with your time abroad?
Sure. So I moved abroad because my husband was in the Italian Air Force. So when we were moving from Italy to Germany, I thought I needed to do something to keep myself busy. So I decided that I was going to work on a PhD during my time there. And what happened was I was sort of very interested in podcasts, and I thought I was going to be writing it from more of a theoretical academic side. And then while I was talking to my tutors at the university and telling them about how I was listening to podcasts and how they were actually helping me sort of deal with being a fish out of water in Germany, they said, well, why don't you just write about that? Why don't you actually turn this into a memoir and write about your podcast listening habits? So that's how it turned into SOS Podcast, because in essence, podcast became my go-to medium for help, support, comfort, everything I kind of needed when I was here in Germany, at least at the beginning of my time, until I got more adjusted. So that's how the idea for the book came about.
Yeah, and I love how you say in your book that you really turned to like podcasts, like almost like Google. When you needed some kind of information, it was like an outlet where you can almost feel connected to other people experiencing the same thing, or even when you were looking for certain things within the area that you were for your family.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I use the podcast as sort of like a Google search engine. So when I needed information about something, I kind of was like, well, let me see if I can find a parenting podcast about weaning my children off of milk or something along those lines. And I would find it. Or when we were going to visit like the Christmas markets in Germany, I thought, let me find a podcast that could tell me like which ones I should go to because there are so many here. What were the right ones? What's the best experience? What time of day to go? So podcasts kind of, became my new source of information and all kinds of information. So everything from self-help to getting older to dealing with my kids. Because the interesting thing is, I mean, I'm an older kind of mom. I have young kids, but I'm a lot older than most of their parents. They're the parents of the kids their age. So, I had my first child at 35 and I had my son at 39. They're 7 and 12. So the experience is a little different. It's one thing when you're, you have children at a younger age. It's another thing when you have them at an older age. So I just weeding through all that information and finding the right sources was very helpful for me, I'd have to say.
Yeah. And I also love, so reading the book about your mother-in-law versus
Okay.
your mom
Okay.
and the traveling.
That's my
Oh,
favorite
no.
part.
Okay.
My favorite part of the book is the part about your mother-in-law. And
Yeah.
not for nothing, but I do think our mother-in-laws are the same person. Yeah,
Really?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll keep that
my
quiet.
mother-in-law's from Spain. Okay,
Okay.
but they share the same spice palette, if you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
love that
feel,
part.
do the two of you feel that it is a cultural thing, like being that, or is it just more of a mother-in-law thing?
You know what?
Ooh.
I think in my case, I think it's a mother-in-law thing. I mean, it's accentuated by the fact that I'm American or Italian American, because Italian Americans, as much as we think that we're Italian, when we go overseas, we're so not Italian. Like,
Right.
we're so different. I mean, I think we're our own version of Italian, but not the one that's in the boot per
Right.
se.
Yeah.
So I think it was accentuated by the fact that I was also American in some ways, but she's a mother. She's a wonderful person. She's just
Oh,
a
yeah.
challenge. She's just a
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah.
And she made my life quite challenging per se.
Yeah.
Yes, she made it quite challenging.
I think partly it's because they're European. We are very different in the United States, and be it good or bad. And there are pros and cons there. But I find the truth is, my mother-in-law is very European in her mentality, and I can't quite put that together very well all the time. I don't have that European connection like you two do. So for me, I just feel it's very oil and water. But anyway, we're here to talk about you, Rosamaria,
No,
and
that's
your
okay.
book. But yeah, I did connect with that. And anybody who's in that situation, then yeah, you're gonna really appreciate that. One thing that I did not realize when we talked before, maybe I just never put it together, but I didn't realize that your second child was born when you were 39.
Yeah.
How?
She's like, wow.
Well, I mean, there's two things that really kind of jump out at me there. First of all, your second child born at 39, that's a little bit advanced in age to have your second child, right?
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
it
Okay.
took me a while after my first one to convince myself to have a second one, because it was so traumatic for me, the first
Yeah.
experience. But I didn't want to leave my daughter, Sylvia. I wanted her to have a sibling because I have siblings and they're so important. So I was like, I have to have a second child. And I mean, obviously, I'm so glad I did. But I was, at 39, I mean, it's hard. It's much
for
harder.
sure.
And it's so funny that, like I was saying before, my son, he's like, well, Marcus's mom is only 30. And I'm like, well, so it's
good
just,
for Marcus's
like, it's his
mom.
mom. So it's very like, and you're different at, like, I'm 46 now. I'll be 47 this month, but you're different. I mean, I get tired more easily. My patience is different. I'm also, I think, more apprehensive because I know more than I would have
Right.
been as a younger mother. Maybe I would have been a little bit more relaxed and laid back, but at 47, like, I see danger everywhere, So it's just, it's also probably, I don't know, I find it very exhausting because I worry a lot. So
Yeah.
I
Because
think,
of
like,
lived experiences. Yeah.
yeah, so you're kind of like, I think at 30 or 35, everything is kind of okay, But
Right.
at 45 and at 46, it's like, oh, wait a minute, that's not
You
great.
know a little better. Yeah.
You know a little bit better.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I think my kids have to deal with that because they do have a very apprehensive mom. But my mom was also very apprehensive. That's also a very Italian thing.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
A very European
Italian
thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm sure.
And in my family, my dad was the one who was well, my mom is Northern Italian. My dad's Sicilian. And
Okay.
he was the one that was always so protective, very protective. And don't do this. Don't get on the train and go by yourself into the city. And don't walk through Times Square. And,
Fair.
like, he was always so very protective about that. And I
Sure.
think it did, though, cause kind of anxiety. I have two sisters. So in the
Okay.
three of us, I think we have high anxiety when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're a little bit older. And then on top of that, you are having your children in Europe, like a foreign country, which you've said before, even though you're Italian American, still you're American. And so it's a different experience entirely, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. A completely different experience because all of the things that you know or that you experienced are completely different. I mean, the environment is different, the food is different. I talk about that in the book when they told me I went to the doctor and they said I was going to start weaning my daughter in Italy. They were like, you're going to wean her off milk, and they're like, you're going to cook for her. And I was like,
Uh,
okay,
She's going to start with the antipasta.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Whole
she's
life,
having a
right?
3-course meal. Exactly. But they were like, you're going to give her Parmigiano cheese and it's got to be age 36 months. I was like, they don't even have different ages of Parmigiano cheese in the US. So I was completely flabbergasted by that. Even though food was obviously very important to me and a cultured item in my home, this was completely shocking. Olive oil, Parmigiano cheese. I was going to be making her pastina. I thought like I was just going to go pick up the baby carrots and the peas and just test them out. And it was going to be quite simple. But all of these things were different. And then here in Germany, they were like, just go to the store, pick up what you want, which was a little bit more American, but the food was so much stranger. Like they were, they wanted the kids to have
Yeah.
salmon. And I was like, salmon or raspberries, which are like in Italy were considered a no-no for like
Really?
yes, and they were giving them raspberries here. So I was like, what's going on? So all of it was different, and it's still different. I mean, the things that I was used to growing up are not here. And then the also thing is like even my husband, like he's also like his culture is also not here, so it's definitely challenging. But I have to say that you become more adamant about sticking to your ways, like a little more stubborn. It's like, no, I want to do this the American way, or no, I want to do this the Italian way, because you feel like you need to hold your ground when you're overseas.
It's
do
almost
know
like
that.
when you're
Yeah.
talking about that, you had to prepare the food for the kids. In my mind, I'm thinking they're already training your palate in Italy.
Yes,
It's
it's
like here are
true.
all the good stuff.
It's true. It's true. And she
Yeah.
loved it. My daughter loved it. She ate it up. I was like, she's not going to eat this olive oil, cheese. And she loved it. So yeah, they are. They're
Yeah.
training your palate. That's a
Those
great
Italian
line. That's
genes
true.
are
Yeah.
those Italian genes are strong. Yes. Uh-huh. Oh yeah. They come out wanting, oh, I want the antipasta and maybe a little red wine. Yes.
I just saw a very cute reel, and it was about this is what happens when we left the room. And it was a little boy eating a dish of pasta, but he took the chunk of cheese and the grater, and he sat there and grated the cheese into his mouth. It
Yeah.
was the most adorable thing, but I'm like, yes, that would be my kids. They just
Right.
love it.
Mhm. I
It's
probably would
true.
have done it too, but growing up in the Midwest, we didn't have a grater and a chunk of cheese. You know what our cheese was? Our cheese was either Velveeta or it was Kraft American Singles. That's what we had. Yeah. Uh-huh. But I do appreciate that you are in our target demographic, 45 and older. So
That's
all you
me.
ladies out there who I give you credit because I know that you are an older mom, and that's got to be a unique challenge in and of
And I
itself.
think
So
actually in the US, I think that is becoming more common though.
you
I
think
think I
so?
don't know about abroad, but I think there are quite a few people waiting until their later 30s to have children.
Well, Lorraine, we're going to have to start some type of maternity section of the podcast then.
Well, why don't we talk a little bit about your book? Why don't you give us a little bit of the background, what you talk about in the book? And I know there's so much of, well, you have storytelling, satire, and humor, and all the rest of it. So why don't you give us a little bit of background about it?
Sure. So the book is, I would describe as like a confessional memoir. I kind of just go through different episodes of my life, but the book is organized by themes. So depending on different scenarios or situations, that's how it's organized. So we have a chapter on like giving birth abroad. There's a chapter on how you celebrate holidays abroad. There's just a chapter about like aging and what it's like to be aging, because I actually turned 40 when I was in Germany, and it was really hard to turn 40 in Germany. So there's a chapter about that. So it's divided based on themes, and each theme is connected to different podcasts. So in essence, what happens is I kind of share my life experiences, but then I also share how podcasts kind of in certain cases could have helped me, or in some cases actually helped me get through those situations. So for example, there's a chapter about like just missing the sun, which is at the end. Like Germany, it rains a lot in Germany. I think it's like, I can't remember the number I have in the book, but it's like over 180 days a year rains here. Okay. So it's a lot of rain. So sometimes I just miss the sun. But what I did was I just found podcasts that are about like good news. So every once in a while, when it's been raining for like a week straight, I put in that podcast that talks about like only good news, good things that are happening in the world, and how that would kind of just appease my sense of dread at it raining for 7 days straight or something like that. So they're all connected to different podcasts and different themes, but it's kind of like just me talking, and there's a lot in there about voice. And I feel like the idea was for, as you're reading it, to kind of hear my voice, to feel as if someone is speaking to you. So kind of that effect of what a podcast would be like in your ear. So that was the goal. I'm not sure how successful I was at that, but that was the goal, to kind of have like Rosamaria's voice in your ear while you're actually reading it, and to sort of, it's very choppy sometimes, but that's sometimes the way I speak. So it could be a little choppy. Sometimes the sentences are really, really long because I have a mouthful to say about something. So that was the idea behind it.
No, that is how it felt, and I love how vulnerable you were in it, and admitting your like the stuff with the kids, like worrying about the cold and worrying about just like all the different things, because I could totally relate to that, and I did feel like you were speaking to me.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it was about like being vulnerable and sort of putting myself out there. It's hard. It was hard for me to say like that I worry a lot, but also hard for me to say that, at 46, it's kind of hard to make friends, or at least in your early 40s. I mean, I found it difficult then. I even find it difficult now. It goes back to that idea of like when you're in your 30s, everybody is great and cool, but when you're in your 40s, you tend to be a little bit pickier.
Yeah.
Or you like, I'm not the most social person. I kind of, hide in the back of the room. You might not think that, but that's me. I hide in the back of the room. Once you get to know me, then I become like friendly, but at the beginning I'm kind of shy. So like admitting all of this stuff is not so easy, but I thought that if people were going to relate to me, then I needed to do that. I needed to be honest about who I was and myself, and even obviously poking fun at myself as well, because I'm a bit of a mess,
No,
I am.
come on.
No, I'm
We
a bit
all
of a
are.
mess.
We all
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, that's where life isn't perfect, and neither are we. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? That authenticity, it really drives the connection of the book. And I really appreciated it because, again, like I don't have children. So the mother-in-law part for me, I was like, oh my God, I totally get that. So yeah, it is a very authentic voice. And I really appreciated that. Right.
And I
And
mean,
they're
I
very
was worried
funny.
too. I was a little worried with my husband too. I was like, is he going to hate me like after this? Because, but we're still married, so that's a good sign. But yeah, I mean, the stories are the truth, so that like, it's not made up or anything
Right.
along those lines. They're authentic, they're real stories. And I mean, I also think that like he knows his mom, like he
Oh yeah.
knows
My
what
husband knows his
they
mother. Oh
know,
yeah.
they know, they know.
Yes.
I mean, you obviously have to be delicate about it, but they know.
I don't know.
So yeah.
Not always. Anyway, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Thanks.
So the book has given you an emotional release and creative joy.
Mm-hmm.
You can never have too much joy.
You can never have too much joy. That's right.
So,
Okay.
we talked about your parenting. So, if you would describe what kind of parent you are, how would you describe yourself?
I mean, I'm a helicopter parent. I'm those helicopter mom parents. I worry. I'm apprehensive about things. For example, my son today went to a week of summer camp. We went to New York for the summer holidays. We came back. I'm back at work, and I figured maybe he should go to summer camp for a week because, I'm always trying to limit screen times and phones. This is the new parenting thing of today. So I sent him to summer camp, but like, I went to mass yesterday, Sunday, and I was like, please God, watch over my son at summer camp. Let him have a good week. Keep him. I was so worried about him today, and he's not home yet, but I called my husband. I was like, did you get him? Is he okay? And he got on the phone. He's like, Mommy, it was fun. And I was like, okay, great. So I'm just, I wish I could be less apprehensive about things. And I'm trying to be less apprehensive about things, but it's not so easy. It's not so easy. I mean, I'm a worrier. I worry about what they eat. I worry if they're drinking enough. I worry about, I wrote about the undershirts and that they need to be warm and that they have lots of like gear, that they take off when they leave me. I mean, it's summer here and I sent him with like a jacket on today. And he's like, I don't think I need this. I was like, no, just take it. You'll be okay. You never know. So I'm a bit of a apprehensive parent, but I am trying to try to be less apprehensive because it would be better for me from a mental health perspective. I have to be honest with you because it is exhausting to worry about all these things, but, and that takes effort and it's just hard. It's just hard.
Yeah. So your mom is the same way?
My mom had 4 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think she was that apprehensive, but I also think, because it was different. I mean, we played outside. There's nobody to play outside with here. I mean, there are some kids, but kids don't play outside much. So it was kind of just like, we were told, don't go in the street, stay on the sidewalk and everything will be fine. And that's really what we did. We went out in the morning and we came back for like lunch and for dinner. That was it.
Us too.
So yeah,
same here. Yeah.
So
you heard the siren at 6 o'clock. You knew it was time to go home for dinner.
Exactly.
We didn't have
there
a
was
siren.
some kind of symbol. Yeah, there was some kind of symbol that you need. Somebody's dad pulled in the driveway. It was like, okay, we have to go in now.
The street lights came on. Time to go home. Yeah, right.
Exactly. So I think I don't think she was that apprehensive. I mean, she was obviously an Italian mother because my mom was born in Italy, so she was an Italian mom. But I think she wasn't limiting screens. She wasn't worried about that kind of stuff.
When by the time you get to the 4th kid,
I think you're just
like, look, just try to keep it alive, right?
Exactly. And your sister or brother will kind of watch out for you too. Because I had my sister. I mean, I'm the youngest of 4, so I had 2 older brothers and an older sister. So I was always with my sister. Like, she watched out for me. Mm-hmm. But we really didn't get into much trouble. But,
we got into trouble.
Okay. So
anyway,
she was less apprehensive, I think. I think. And I mean, she's calm. I think she was calm. I mean, she did yell a lot, but Italians' mothers, they yell, right?
They're loud. They're
loud. Yes,
they're loud. I know. When my daughter-in-law first came into the family, she used to just sit and like be at the table, like, what is going on here? Because we're just talking over one another. Yeah.
That is true. And I'll tell you, that happens in the Spanish family as well. Because, I think my hearing has been affected by how loud that family is. I'm telling you. They are very loud. We were nowhere near as loud as my husband's family. Very loud. And when the aunts would all get together, oh, boy, you could hear them from space, I'm sure. Yeah, very loud. Mm-hmm.
No, I always say that I can hear, like, if I go outside, I can hear my kids, like, because, I mean, my husband is Italian as well. So we're kind of loud. We speak at a nice volume per se. But like, I can hear my kids from outside and they're just playing and doing their stuff, but I can't hear anybody else in the neighborhood. Like I don't, they're all so like quiet. And then I hear my kids, so.
What are the parenting differences between Italy and Germany?
Okay. Parenting, there's a lot. For example, my kids do not, like walk to school yet by themselves to the bus. For example, they go to a bus stop and they go to school and they jump on the bus and go to school. But here in Germany, kids starting at about 6 years old start walking by themselves to school. So, I mean, that would never happen in Italy. That would never happen in New York. I mean, my daughter now she's 12. So this year I told them, I started to prepare them. I'm like, listen, you guys can start walking to the bus by yourself. And we're going to try this when we go back to school in 2 weeks. So we'll see what happens. But from 6 years old, these little German kids are walking by themselves to the bus stop. When I first saw them, I was like frightened. I was like, oh my God, this kid is lost. Like, I need to stop the car and bring him home. And then my husband's like, no, have you not seen all of them running around? There's like, this is what they do. They walk by themselves. So that's a big difference in terms of giving their kids a lot more freedom than an Italian parent would actually do. There's a much more of a focus on food as well. Like, kind of kids here, like, they're not I mean, I don't know if this sounds fair, but they're not to be seen or heard. Like, you don't see many families out with children at dinner. Like, you'll see them at lunch, but not at dinner, because they're kind of keep them inside. They don't want to hear too much noise at restaurants. While in Italy, like, their families, dinner time, cena, which is around 8 p.m., is full of families. So there is this kind of big difference as well. Like, I mean, I go out with my kids. Besides the fact I wouldn't know where to leave them. But I mean, they come with us. We go together places. So, I mean, once in a while, of course, I'll go with my husband, but mostly we spend time together. But like, if we go out for dinner, there won't be any like German kids out. It'll just be like our family, and then lots of different couples or older adults together. So that's a big difference too. Like, they sort of, children are to be kind of not heard, they're not seen anywhere after 6 or anything like that, or at least at restaurants per se. So that's a little different. Let me think what else.
Do they give you the stink eye if you're out with your kids at dinner?
Yeah, they do. They do. They don't want them to be loud. They don't want them. I mean, obviously they shouldn't be causing a ruckus, but they do talk to each other and they laugh, which is normal.
Sure.
Yeah,
they're kids. Yeah.
They're kids. So that's a little different. They're just the Germans are very serious people. They're very serious. Getting them to smile is very hard, but they're very polite. They're very polite. Yeah. Everyone says good morning. Everyone says hello. Like, you'll walk down the road for a neighborly walk, and they all say hello. They're very polite. While in Italy, that wouldn't happen at all. Like, people just kind of go about their business. In New York too, it's not like you're running around the streets and being like hi to people. I mean, so.
Well, you also live in a rural area, right? In Germany.
I do. It's very
a little bit different there too.
Yes, completely different. Yeah, we have bison down the road.
Wow.
At our old house, there was like a barn behind us. We had horses. There were sheep. Sometimes I say to myself, I don't know where I am. Like, how did I end up here? But so it's very rural. But like, the biggest city is kind of about 35 minutes away. And you can get to like a big city, which would be Aachen, or if you go into the Netherlands, you can go to Maastricht, which is quite lovely too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Is it easy for you to get things that you need, like like everyday necessities, or is it a drive really far? Do you?
No, we do have a supermarket in our little town, so it's easy to get stuff that I need. So luckily that's good. Okay. Yeah, I don't have to drive that far. And you can even walk there. Yeah.
Okay. So what was it like because I know you gave birth to one child in Italy and one child in Germany. So what was the difference? What was it like to give birth in the two different countries?
Okay.
Being an American and giving birth.
Yes, that was really crazy. That was really crazy. So in Italy, it was pretty smooth. I mean, I ended up having a C-section, and I mean, I had a good doctor, and the doctor who sort of guided me throughout my pregnancy was there at the delivery, which is actually in Germany, it's not like that. It's just the doctor who actually guides you through your pregnancy is not there at the delivery. Whoever's at the hospital basically takes care of you, which was I was like, what do you mean this doctor is not going to help me? And they're like, no, just when you go to the hospital, whoever's there will help you. So that was completely different. But I had good care in Italy. It was, it was okay. I mean, I did have my mother-in-law there, which complicated things because I tried to breastfeed my daughter and it wasn't working. And it was just really challenging. And, Europeans, I have to say, I don't know what it's like in the US now, but Europeans are very pro breastfeeding. So they really, really want you to try. And I really did try in Italy, but it didn't work. And I remember I wrote about this in the book too, but I called my sister in New York and I was like, I don't know what to do. This kid is screaming, my daughter. And I said, I don't know what to do. Everything is a mess. And she's like, just ask them for formula and feed your baby. It's been 3 days. Just do it. So I did that. And they weren't so happy about it, but I made it through. Meanwhile, in Germany, things were very different from that perspective as well. Like, I mean, I wanted to have a C-section because I had already had a C-section. So I asked my German doctor if I could just have one. And they were very against that. They were like, no, we don't want you to do that. And I was like, it's my body. And I'm 39. I want to decide what I'm going to do. And they were like, okay, we'll do it in week 39. And I was like, by week 39, I'm going to deliver this kid, But then I had a problem with my son was pushing on my kidneys. So they had to take them out early. So I ended up having a C-section anyway, and I had it at week 37. And here too, I had the same kind of pressure with the breastfeeding. And at this point I was like, I really just was like, I don't really want to try. And I sometimes that's not like, people don't like when you say that, but it was the truth. I just was like, I want to feed my baby this way. I don't want to, like, I thought I was just too old to be sort of getting myself involved in this kind of like commitment, because it's a serious commitment when you breastfeed your child, which means it's just you. Like, you can't get any help from a spouse because they can't do anything. But I just was like, I don't want to do it. And they were not happy about that. But I was like, I don't want to do it. You need to bring me formula. And then finally they brought me formula. So that wasn't like a great situation. Didn't make me feel fantastic, but I was mature enough that I could hold my ground. So that was really good. But like, the milk does still come in. And this is funny. They basically told me to put some kind of like cheese on my breasts to stop the milk. And I was like, are these people crazy? They're like, no. They're like, go buy this German cheese, put it on your chest, and it'll stop the milk. And I was like, I can't do this. So I just kind of like tie them up. You have to put like a really tight bra on to sort of stop the milk production. So I did that, and then it stopped, and it was okay. So, they have different approaches to things. But I mean, the important thing for me was that the babies were okay and that I was okay. So that was the most important thing. So, I just wanted to get out of it kind of alive, and I did, which was good. So that was but different approaches, but also very European in that regard. I don't know how it is in the US, but my sister, I mean, she had children way before I did, but she told me that, there wasn't so much pressure, but now everything is very natural. And so there is this sort of push for those kind of things. I mean, I was like, just give me whatever drugs you have to give me. I wasn't one of those people who were like, I want to do this naturally. I was like, whatever I need, give me. It's okay, but that's just me, I guess I'm not very good with pain. So I was like, just whatever I need, just give me what's necessary. So
at least you were able to do that, at least in both countries.
I was able to do that.
Yeah.
Did you have natural births, Lorraine, or you had C-sections?
I had natural. Of course, that was in the early 80s.
Okay.
Early to mid 80s. And so I did the Lamaze. I did the whole thing. But luckily I had very quick deliveries. So I wasn't suffering for very long.
Okay.
And huge babies that just needed to come out. I think the smallest one was 8-12.
Okay. How many kids do you have?
I have 3.
You have 3. Okay.
And 7 grandchildren.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm not, even though it's the plural for nono, nonna, they call me nonni.
Noni. Okay.
Nani,
Okay.
yeah.
That's
Hmm.
cute.
Yeah.
Hey Lorraine, don't forget, it's time for us to schedule our Lifeline screening appointments. They're 5 simple tests to help us keep on top of our heart and bone health, which is important for women over 45.
Yes, Lifeline Screening has been the premier provider of preventative health screening for over 30 years. In that time, over 10 million people have had screenings to detect their risk of stroke, cardiovascular disease, and other chronic illnesses. Lifeline Screening can provide meaningful benefits for your body and mind, and that's why they're committed to delivering accurate results and recommendations that could give you a healthier advantage in your everyday life, such as early detection of serious conditions, prevention of disease progression, peace of mind so you can enjoy life, savings with more affordable screenings, and no insurance required.
Yep, and don't forget, by using the link in the show notes of this episode, you get a special offer available to Girlish Gurus listeners, so make sure and schedule your appointment.
Get peace of mind now. Here's to your good health.
Why don't we talk about how SOS Podcasts blends journal style vignettes, sharp wit, heartfelt insights, and why our readers might want to pick up your memoir?
Sure. If you want a story about someone who is full of faults, but someone who maybe you could relate to, then this is the story for you. Because I think like it's really about being vulnerable and sharing your vulnerabilities and in some ways poking fun at them, but then also finding the means. And in my case, it was podcasts to kind of tell me that what I was feeling was okay, was normal for somebody like me, that there are tools and methods that you can use to help yourself through a difficult situation, or basically just be confident in who you are. So I think that's really what the goal of the memoir is, to sort of be confident in your skin and know that it's okay to be a mess, but there is also help you can find through all these different great voices that are in podcasts.
Yeah. And I think being an American abroad and having that access, if you think about it, I mean, years and years ago, there wasn't that connection. You could listen to the news, you could watch TV shows, but you wouldn't really have those voices that you could listen to that are really going through what you're going through, or the need to find help, an outlet for what you were going through.
Yeah, and it's also quite intimate. I mean, the idea of having this, it's one thing to watch television and to, you could watch CNN and listen to the news and fine, but it's another thing to have it so close to your ear. And you feel this, like, I mean, when I listen to my podcasters, they're like, oh, there's Jennifer again, she's going to tell me that story. So there is that connection, that intimacy. And it grows over time, because as you become like an avid listener of a certain podcast, it's like you kind of wait. I mean, I don't know if you have that as well, but I wait for my podcast to drop. I'm like, oh, when is it coming? Because also I'm in a different time zone. So it's I have to wait more,
Right.
or at least I think so. So there is that sense of intimacy, and it's really important. It's completely different than what it is from just, watching something on television, or having that little, when I go for my walk and I have NPR's Life Kit in my ear, it's different. It's different.
Yeah.
There's a different
It's like
feeling.
another support system.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
I was actually going to mention that. To me, this memoir is like talking with a girlfriend in a way, because you really are getting the unvarnished truth.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that's not something that you're going to get from a person who doesn't have the same life experience and who is, I'm going to say it frankly, younger. Honestly, I don't think you're going to have that same blend of, yes, you're a parent, but you also have those mother-in-law experiences, and you have the maturity and the gravitas to be able to express yourself in a very funny but very human way. So to me, it was really like listening to a girlfriend talk on the phone in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
reminds us that we're not alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think as women, like, we like that. I mean,
Well, we have to have it.
We have to have it. We
Yeah.
need it. I mean, we need to talk to other women to sort of express ourselves. And we kind of sometimes need that person to be like, oh, can you believe she said that? Or she said that to me, you know?
Lorraine,
So-
that's us.
You know, exactly. So we need that as women. So I think that was also part of the focus on voice, and to have in the memoir, to have that aspect associated with it, because it was important for me to be able to, like, the idea was to connect with the reader and to be like, hey, you know, I'm feeling this, sympathize with me, but also laugh, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I found myself shaking my head like, yes, yes, especially, well, there's that other Italian American connection too with the grandmas and everything else. But
Of
yes,
course.
just that connection as far as the fears for your children and everything that you worry about, and always thinking, oh my God, am I the only one that does this? Am I like
Yes.
crazy?
Well,
And then when you find somebody else, you're like, oh, I'm not crazy.
Right.
I'm thinking all these things that I'm crazy, but I'm not. There's other people that worry. Maybe they worry differently, but they worry as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
and also, I do think it's important to point out when we're talking about support system, I think you really deserve some snaps, because it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to realize, oh, I'm in a situation where I need some kind of support. And I think that, especially here in the United States, our culture is don't ask for help. Don't let other people know that you're struggling a little. But you know what? That's not a good thing. We should really embrace the fact that, hey, okay, I'm having a difficult time readjusting. I could not imagine being a new mom and being away from my family, your built-in support system, your own mother, right? Who else is going to help you more? Didn't she come over when
She
your
did.
children? Yes.
She did. Thank God. Yeah. She came for both of them. She
Right.
stayed for like 3 months each time. Yeah. But she
And
could.
that's, yeah.
And I'm so grateful for her, because I mean,
Right.
she got me through. I was like, I can't do this by myself. And I mean, my husband was here, but it's different. Like
Right.
it's just a different, like they can only do so much, you know. I remember my mother would wash my hair in the shower, because I mean, I had a C-section, so I couldn't like bend over. I couldn't lift up my arms. I was like, how am I going to do this? And she'd wash my hair in the shower. I mean, it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same kind of connection that we are working on here at Girlish Gurus, honestly. And girlfriends and that community is so important. And so I hope women can pick up this book and have that voice in their ear and work on, okay, it's all right for me to ask for help. And also, it's time for me to develop this community, especially in our second act, because now that you're 45 and older, that's our demographic. And also, I think you deserve a shout out for reinventing yourself.
Thanks.
As you are over 40, and here you are, you're getting your PhD. I mean, you know, that's pretty impressive. And writing a book and being involved in podcasting. So, yeah, that is something that we specifically talk about, because you get to that point where, all right, you have gone through your formative years, you've had your career, and you are now full of wisdom, and you're an interesting and experienced person. And what's going to happen next for you? How are you going to construct your second act? And so that's something we talk about a lot here too. And I think that this book has that connection in it. And I really appreciate that.
I think that's great. I also think like I learned, I have to say, like at the end of this book, I learned that I had to like in my 40s, that I had to start to take better care of myself, which I wasn't doing before. Like there was no really time for Rosamaria. And it wasn't that I was just busy with my kids. It was also that I wasn't taking the time for myself. So it wasn't just a matter of like, oh, I have a busy schedule and I can't do it. It was more like I wasn't like focusing on myself. So like I do that now. I've started to work on my next book. And it's about like self-care and like how important it really is for women. Like I learned how to meditate and to take better care of myself, to just find like 5 minutes a day, because like we are all busy, but it's about being disciplined in our busyness, you know, to be able to find those moments for yourself. Like, I mean, at 40, I would say it's been a year now. At 45, I just started to get my nails done. I never got my nails done in my whole life. Now I get my nails done. It's part of my self-care because like it's just something I do for myself. I've never done this. I used to hate nail polish. Now I'm like, I love nail polish now.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Makes you feel good.
it makes me feel good. Like, I mean, it would be great to go and, get them done with my sister, but I mean, I can't do that because we live in different countries, but I'll take my daughter along. But like, it's something I do for myself. And it may be like, it sounds superficial, but it's like just part of like, it's really important to take care of yourself because nobody's going to do it for you.
Right.
They're not, nobody is, so.
But
You want to be around. You want to be around for those kids and the grandchildren and everyone else in your life, right? And you have to be healthy to do that.
Exactly.
You do. But one thing as women, and even though I don't have kids, I still find myself doing it. I put myself on the back burner so I can help everybody else around me
Sure.
get to the next thing that has to be done. And then I look down and I think, wow, I look like I'm like a wrung out rag, you know? And so it is important to take care of yourself. It is important to prioritize yourself because you can't pour from an empty cup. We've heard that plenty. It's a very common saying, but it's the truth. And so I do think that's an important thing. And I can't wait to hear about your next book.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to talk
I'll
about
have to
that.
come back.
That's right. For sure.
Sure. I love that.
Another way you can take care of yourself is by retreats. And that's something that we are ramping up here at Girlish Gurus. And I just want to take a second to say, we do plan on coming back to Europe.
Okay. That's cool.
Maybe we can all get together.
You should let me know. I was looking for something because I was like, I have to go, like, I have to go away somewhere. I need to do I have to find something for me, even if it's just a day or 2 days maximum, because I don't know if I could leave my kids that long. But you have to let me know if you come back.
Absolutely.
Or you come. Yes, please. Yeah.
Definitely.
I'll meet you in Italy, even if you go to Italy. Okay, Lorraine, that's for you too. Okay. All right. If you go to Italy, bring joy, and then boy, we can meet there.
Definitely.
We're working on it.
Okay, cool.
All right. So Rosamaria, one of the things we do here at Girlish Gurus to wind up our podcast is we ask our guest what 3 things she would have told her younger self so that you can share a little bit more of that philosophy with our audience.
Okay. 3 things I would have told my younger self.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, yeah, that's hard. Let's see. I would definitely have told my younger self to not be afraid of challenges. I would have told my younger self to take better care of myself, to focus more of my time and energy on Rosamaria, because I kind of do that same thing, Joy. I'm kind of like making sure that everybody's happy, my kids, my husband, my mom, my sister, and then I forget about Rosamaria. So I would definitely tell my younger self to take better care of me, Rosamaria. And the third thing I would have told my younger self is, let's see, that maybe when you're faced with an obstacle, the one person that can actually help you is not your spouse or your sister or your mother, it's you. So that's what I would have told myself, like that you are the one that has to dig deep, find the solution that can help you. So those are the 3 things. I hope they make sense. But yeah.
That's great.
Okay.
That's
very good.
That's like Mel Robbins, right? She says, no one's coming. No one's coming to help you do that. No one's coming for that. It's on you. So I love that. Yeah.
Would you want to go back? I don't know if I want to go back to because I don't know what would happen. Like, I mean,
I would never.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah, right.
I think about that all the time. Like, okay, I went to law school. I practiced law for a lot of years, and I'm thankful for my law degree, and it taught me a lot about myself and how to achieve and accomplish tasks. But I wonder if I think knowing the person that I am now, and I'm in my 50s, I know it's hard to believe, but it's true, So knowing the person that I am now, I think to myself, I wonder if I would not have accomplished that anyway. So I don't know. I felt like I had to do it because I knew early on as a young person that I was on my own, that I had to be able to take care of myself. My mother made that very clear to me at a very young age. She's like, "You're on your own. Figure it out. Don't depend on a man." So I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't give up my experience for anything, but at the same time, I would never want to go back. I love being in my 50s and being a confident, settled person. And I feel like my best days are ahead of me.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
feel that way too. I feel that I'm living my best life right now. Like I'm enjoying everything that I'm doing. And I'm older than the two of you. I'm in my late 60s. So I feel like, okay, I have FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. I want to do everything and I want to fit it all in. And I've got a big bucket list and I want the grandchildren around me and I want to do it all. But I feel like I'm living that. I feel like I'm really happy where I am right now. I wouldn't
Lorraine,
want to go
you're
back.
like one of the happiest people I know.
Oh,
Like whenever I see you, you're like a bright, shining light.
aw.
So yeah,
Back at you,
truly.
lady.
Oh yeah. I don't know about that, but I'm working on it. It's a work in progress, and I think that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for progress, not perfection, of course. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good
So, Rosa
question.
Maria, where can we find all information about you and your book?
Sure. So I have a website, which is my name. So it's rosamariamancini.com. And you'll find links to get the book. There's a little bit of a bio section. There's everything you need on there, along with my social links as well. So you can
Yeah.
just go to my
And we
website.
will put those links in our
Right.
show notes. So everybody be
Perfect.
sure to check those out and be sure to check out Rosa Maria's book because it is fabulous. And I'm sure many of you will connect with her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're gonna
Yeah.
enjoy it. It's a fun read. It really is.
Thanks so much for having me. This was great.
Yeah.
So before we sign off, I do want to say to everybody out there, thank you for your support. Please go check out the extended version of this episode on our YouTube channel and stay tuned because we have more fun episodes and content coming. And don't forget to give this episode a like, a share, and subscribe to all our platforms while you're at it. We would really love to hear from you. So if you have a topic you would like for us to discuss, or if you yourself would like to be on the podcast, please drop us a comment and let us know. We would love to explore that with you. So thank you so much, Rosa Maria, for being on the show.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. I feel like I really do know you.
Right. Me
Okay,
too.
that's so great. Thanks so much. I had a blast. This was so much fun.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mwah. Okay, perfect.
Yay.
Yay.
Hey, thanks so much. This was great. I had a wonderful time.
Oh, it was so fun.
Yeah.
Yes, so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And we will definitely like to meet up with you in Italy.
Yes, please. Okay, let me know. And if you have a retreat anywhere in Europe, I'm definitely coming. I can get there. I can get there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh,
All
and
right, cool.
we've got some European retreats in the works.
Okay.
I think it's going to take a little time, but I am interested. So your next book, please, let us know because
I will.
we'll help you
I
promote
will.
it. Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And Lorraine, where's your family from in Sicily? Your dad was from what part of Sicily?
Palermo and
Palermo.
Cefalù.
Okay. Oh, Cefalù. That's beautiful. Okay. And
Yeah.
your mom, you said, was Northern Italian.
Yeah, so it was actually Austria when my grandfather left, but
Oh, wow.
in the Alps there in
Okay.
Mezzo Lombardo. I don't know if you know
Okay.
the area.
Okay. Okay.
And my husband's family is from Syracuse in Sicily.
Sicily. Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
married a Sicilian as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Okay.
Joy, so much. It's such a pleasure. And thanks again for the other episode. It was fantastic. I can't get over it. So, and I'm sure this one's going to be great too.
Oh yeah, and I love seeing you on all the other podcasts that you're on. I get such a kick out of it.
I know they're funny. All right.
All right, well, we'll connect. We'll
Yes. Take
keep in
care,
touch.
everyone.
All right.
Have a great rest
All right,
of the
take
summer.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao. Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao. Okay. Where's my glasses? All right, you coming down or?
Yeah, I have to
Okay.
end this.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Girlish Gurus. We hope you'll join us next time for more fun and inspiration. Be sure to check the description of this episode for links and information about the topic, and you can find us on our social media platforms starting with Instagram, Facebook, and now including YouTube. You can find us by searching Girlish Gurus, and you can also check out our website, girlishgurus.com, for more information on us, our projects, books, and our growing community.
And don't forget to download this episode, give it a good review, and share it with your girlfriends. We would also love to hear from you in the comments because the more interaction we get, the more episodes we can post. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.